From the outside looking in, the paleo diet seems like it could be pretty limiting and not very tasty. But if you take your time and figure out recipes that work within the diet, it's pretty expansive. So here we're making almond flour cookies. My girlfriend made me homemade almond milk, and with leftover almonds, we dehydrated them and turned it into flour. And then with some other almonds, I started making almond butter. I want it super creamy for my cookies, so I'm going to add a little bit of avocado oil. I don't think you should add it if you're just going to keep it as almond butter, but I'm going to be cooking with it, so I'm not really worried about it spoiling. Hopefully that'll help make it creamier. It definitely helped with the creaminess. It was way more spreadable. Right, so once I got done with the almond butter, I set that aside and started working on the wet ingredients. I don't bake. I just made up these portions and ratios as I went. So I used 2 eggs. I used a 1/4 cup of avocado oil. I used 1/2 cup of honey. It's a local honey up here in Northern California. You can't use any refined sugars on this diet, so we went with honey. And I used organic raw honey so I can get the most natural form of sugar possible. And then I used a 1/4 cup of the almond butter I just made. I never baked, like I said, so I kind of just winged it with how much wet ingredients I would need, knowing I was going to use about 2 cups of almond flour. And then I added about a teaspoon of baking soda. I've seen that baking soda is paleo, so I went with it. That's the only thing that's not natural in this recipe. Then I used cacao nibs. They're 100% pure chocolate. They're bitter. You need sweetness to bring out the chocolate flavor. And these were raw cacao nibs from the local organic store. I forgot to add salt at the beginning. You have to add salt because there's no salted butter in this recipe. The almonds weren't salted, so if you don't add salt, there's not going to be any salt, and the salt brings out all the flavors in the cookies. After I mixed it all up, put it in the fridge for about 10 minutes so it can harden up, and then baked them for about 15 minutes. They're pretty big cookies, so I started out with 10 minutes, then added a few more, and then added a few more. Ended up with about 15 minutes overall. Only thing I would change is I would add more honey. They could use a little bit of sweetness, but had to try them out with some of that almond milk that I told you my girlfriend made for me, and this is how it turned out. Pretty soft, pretty chewy, not bad. Pretty bomb.